We are live, folks. So I want to talk about movies. Okay, specifically how this one thing will make 90% of the movies you watch better. And I, of course, am talking about compromises. Join me as we learn to make your movie experience better. Have you ever watched Spider-Man 3 and thought, wow, this movie is awful. It's just awful. Have you ever wondered if Spider-Man 3 might actually be a good movie? Yeah, well, neither has anybody else. But there are appropriate times to compromise for movies, which will make your movie watching experience all the more enjoyable. Now, I've talked before about how you can like character and not like the story, and that can still be true for compromises. Now, journey with me where compromises can be found in the world of buy-in. Buy-in is a beautiful world where you can escape into mindlessness, or you can be inspired and moved. Now, if you buy in to the not really worth thinking about rants of adult men and women trying to find love, you will get the most beautiful of teas. The most beautiful of teas. And if you buy into the crazy lore and just caricatures of WWE, for example, you'll have nothing but excitement for at least a few hours. Now, with movies and stories like, let's say, Spider-Man 3, just saying, there's a certain amount of buy-in that has to happen for us to be able to enjoy the movie. We have to believe for a couple of hours that a genetically engineered spider, if it bites a guy, can make someone Spider-Man. We have to believe that for the story to kind of work. And once we believe in that and the other parts of the story, we can have a really, really great time. Now, we can still have buy-in with movies, but there's still something lacking, right? It's like you have to keep buying in, just subtly. And that, my friends, is compromise. So you just accept that that thing is the way that it is and kind of let it happen so that you can enjoy what the movie is really trying to say. Although sometimes it's not worth it. Looking at you, Black Panther, and Star Wars episodes 7, 8, and 9. Acting, for example, is one of those things that you can make compromises for. I've always thought this was true for the old Kirk Cameron movies like Fireproof, Facing the Giants, stuff like that.
Don't quit! Don't quit!
The acting is just awful, just so bad. But the message is really great. So then you compromise the acting for the great story. Can't you say this is true for Spider-Man 3?
My son thought the world of this guy.
I have a 9-year-old daughter who loves Spider-Man. Who's she supposed to look up to now?
This is the guy that gave the key to the city to?
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
No? Okay, well, that's fine. Just stay with me and it'll all make sense. Okay, I promise you, it'll all make sense. Sometimes there are compromises in dialogue, right? This is true for Star Wars Episode 2, right? I don't even have to finish the sentence, but just leave in the comments the end of this sentence, okay? I hate... We all know what it is, okay? I'm not even gonna say it. So you can make compromises for badly written dialogue so that you can experience the twisting, the corruption of a teenage Jedi who's just trying to save the ones that he loves. Now, can't you say the same is true for Spider-Man 3?
My son thought the world of this guy.
I have a 9-year-old daughter who loves Spider-Man. Who's she supposed to look up to now?
This is the guy that gave the key to the city to?
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
No, okay. Wowzers, okay, all right. That's fine. Just stay with me. It'll make sense, okay? I promise you, it'll make sense. Now, for the final compromise, and this is the most important on the list, I think, is the money. So movies are made generally because big-time movie executives have a lot of money that they want to put into a project, and hopefully they can make more money once the movie comes out, spending less on it and gaining more, obviously. That being said, they also generally have a lot of leeway with kind of how the movie is run because they are a major producer in that movie. So when it comes out that a movie was only supposed to have one main villain, and then the movie execs came to him and said, you know what, we want you to add Venom because we heard that people like Venom and we want you to put Venom in it. And the guy's like, well, I don't know really anything about Venom, so I'm not gonna do that. And then they go, okay, well, then we're just not gonna give you any money. And he says, okay, we'll put Venom in. That sounds great. Yeah, so then they scrap the script and they have to do reshoots and they put pressure on the writers, have to get it at a certain deadline and stuff because they still have to make the deadline. And that gets done and then, all's good. You think, okay, I made it. And then the movie executives come to you and they say, you know what? We also want you to add Hobgoblin because we heard that people like Hobgoblin, so you should add him in there. And then the director's like, oh man, I don't know anything about Hobgoblin. I'm just gonna stick with these two and that's fine. And then he goes, okay, well then we're not gonna give you any money. So he says, okay, we're putting Hobgoblin in there. So that of course leads to like more reshoots and rewriting and just scrapping scripts and trying to weave all these things together, introduce characters into the movie while also giving them an ending and all that stuff. It's very, very complicated. So given that Sam Raimi originally wanted to have just Sandman as his villain? Can we compromise with the other villains because he didn't have any control over the situation? Yes. Is the story still good considering the circumstances? Yes. Does it all flow pretty well considering? Yes. Is the story confluent with like minimal contrivances? Yes. All these things allow for compromises in Spider-Man 3, which makes Spider-Man 3 a good movie. Anyway, that's all I got. Bye. I've always really liked the old, the original Spider-Man trilogy. I think just because I grew up with Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, and I just think he's the better Spider-Man. So.